Good evening, William Ian here, 1799. Glad you're here. I love research stuff, and especially when it comes to politicians, because they're some of the biggest liars out there. But that's no here or there. I want to hit this a little quick here. If you like this video, share it, subscribe. Please subscribe. It's free. It don't cost you nothing. But I want you to really pass this around because it is interesting. In my younger years, I worked on 4 different farms in my younger years. And I'm talking about I was between 14, 15 years old, 16 years old. And I worked in a gas station where gasoline was between 28 cents to 32 cents a gallon, pumping gas. And that was the old time we had these old hand crank pumps we had to put into. You had to watch it overflow. That's something totally different. But anyway, energy was different then, okay? Octane was different, diesel fuels were different, everything was different back then. In today's world, between the, I would say, the economics of our nightmare, which is brought on by big government, which is the interest rates, the high taxes, bank loans, you name it, they've been pretty hard, right? Okay. But they talk about this cost of living, and they kind of try to mislead the people. Now, in my day, things were a lot different. Big time. Here's the thing, the point is, I worked on 4 different farms. Now, in these farms that I had to work on, if you have to get an idea, the cost of these operating these farms is astronomical because of the energy they needed. Now, you got your fertilizers, you got your seed, you got your water irrigation, you got your manpower. All this is high cost, okay? Plus inspections, plus take it to the market, and it's all done by transport, truck, and so forth. All that costs energy. In today's economics, they've jacked this thing up so freaking high, it's ridiculous. But they want to bring this down, and I'm going to show you how stupid this really gets here. This is Kamala Harris, by the way. In vowing to enact the first federal law against price gouging from food suppliers, grocery stores, as part of her wide-range economic plan to bring down the costs of living, but many economics say that they are skeptical, and I don't blame them. The policies of which would lead to lower food costs to consumers. Now that's true because the only way you're going to do that is you're going to have to literally bring back your economic nonsense that you created. Now, record profits of certain types of foods have seen sharper spikes, with Harris pointing out a loaf of bread is now about 50 cents more expensive than prior to the COVID-19 pandemic. Well, actually, it was higher before the COVID pandemic. So, what are we talking here? Okay. Now, let's see. She calls the illegal hiking in price. She also ensures the completion of the industry is essential to bring down the grocery costs for Americans, which is a bunch of nonsense. Businesses charge excessively high prices on such as after extreme weather events, for example, which is true. Farmers are up against a lot of things, which are weather, irrigation, fuel costs. Again, all that all plays into effect here, okay? Now, with the high interest rates that have been imposed on all Americans, farmers are more heavier to absorb this mess because they're stuck. They're hurt because they had to somehow balance out what they need to do to make a profit, but at the same time be able to keep operating. Here's the thing, this is interesting. Grocery inflation can link to a number of issues, from higher labor costs at higher manufacturers and to tackle down the consumers. Record low cattle numbers that have drove up the cost of beef and steaks, which I know about that, in the past few years, and has blamed the greedy invitation. Sorry, not true. And see, the economists say that this is no such evidence, which there is no such evidence, because here's the thing, like I said before, high costs of energy. Here's the best thing about this. Still, a federal crackdown on price gouging could prove popular with some voters. Now, that's the key here. See, that's the key. Now, I'm going to get into this a little bit more, but this is the key what she's trying to pull here. Her and the Democrats who are pour all this nonsense because they want to stay in office. It's all about voting. It's not about reality. Mind you, the worst words that can come from the federal government is, "Hi, I'm from the federal government. I'm here to help you." Yeah. Remember those words. Ensuring that consumers have plenty of alternatives, essentials to keeping a lid on high prices. Well, again, that's going to be hard to do. And the reason why it's going to be hard to do is, again, the problem with the industry now is so heavily regulated that they don't tell you this. The food industry is heavily regulated, whether it be beef or it be sheep, cattle, or regular growing food raw to the ground. Now, what do I mean by this is feed. Whether you work on a horse farm, a cattle farm, a sheep farm, a rabbit farm, chickens, poultry, you name it, feed is essential. Costs money because it's grown out of the ground, inspected, truck transported to these other farms so they can build their crops to send to the markets. To the markets, to the producers. Right? High cost of energy. Truck transports, like I said, inspectors, lots of inspectors. Now, again, when we talk about planting food, wheat, grain, barley, soybean, corn, potatoes, squash, tomatoes, peas, you name it, is high energy. They have the seed, prepare the ground. These machines run constantly and they're diesels. Okay? Your combines, your big huge combines that take down the corn stalks or whatever. Hay, feed, all done by combines. Is a large amount of fuel being used. This equipment doesn't sit idle. It's constantly being used every day. I know because I've seen it done. I worked on some of these farms. And I heard some of the farmers complaining, fuel costs are going up. This is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Now I can imagine what they're saying now. But that's the point here. They're going to turn around and tell you this is all done by the producers. This is all done by the manufacturers. All this stuff is all done by them. It's evidently, first of all, they never worked on a farm. I'll tell you that right now. None of them have worked on a farm, so they have no idea the operation and the cost of it. So you figure to create this jar of tomato paste or sauce, we say, takes energy. Tomatoes out of the field. Machines are involved. truck transports are involved, inspectors are involved, freezers are involved, and then it goes to the producers involved. There's a lot of processes into making this jar of tomato sauce, right? They don't understand the vats, the cooking processes, the bottling, the materials to get the materials, the labeling, the advertisements, all cost money that they, the Democrats and Washington themselves, have created on their own. They created this stuff. Canned asparagus, same thing. Costs money to produce this and to get the can. The labeling, the advertisements. Can of spinach, same thing. Goes to a different manufacturer to process it. Goes to these vats, gets processed, boiled down, inspected, storage, shipping to the stores, so it can be resold. But it's also taxed. It's taxed, and where high taxes come from? From the government. So they're sitting there telling you, the American people, not me, because I know better, that all this is done by the farmers. This is all done by the producers. This is all done by the manufacturers who manufacture stuff. Or process, I'm sorry. It's all done by them. They're gouging you, which is not. To make the bread, you need the flour, you need all the materials to go with it. To send that wheat to the mills to be processed is a lot of energy. Windmills are not going to do it, and solar panels sure as hell not going to be able to run these industries. But they want you to believe that can happen. So if there's any blame to this, it's themselves. They don't want to take that finger and look themselves in the mirror and say, yeah, it's our fault. We, the government, we add all the taxes, we add all the interest rates, we add all the fuel costs to it. Yeah, it was our fault. They're not going to admit that. Oh, hell no, they're not going to admit that. But they want you to believe that this is from the store owner. This is from the farmer. This is from the truck transporter who's trying to transport this stuff in his truck using the fuel costs going to different states. Or by rail. Yeah. This is their doing. They're the ones that are at fault for this. They're the ones that should be blamed. And there's no goddamn way you can elect these people and they're going to tell you, yeah, we're going to end all this. We're going to break this all down. That's the biggest freaking lie there is. Just like the border wall. Till then, I'm going to tell you right now. But here's another good thing. Quick rundown. You know, China owns, I'd say, a lot of farmland, huh? According to the 2021 report of the Department of Agriculture, China owns 384,000 acres of farmland. Wow. And who they are? They're Democrats. Yeah. Best part. Bill Gates owns 250,000 acres of farmland. Democrat. Till then, keep your friends and family close, and you think about that for a minute. And I'll catch you around. Don't be afraid to defend yourselves and your families. And think about voting for these clowns in the office. You'll be sorry you did.